Ready?
All right, we recording.
All right.
All right. Hold on a second. We cutting. Don't forget that we cutting this shit out, right? Bro, move.
My bad.
Damn, we got a whole damn couch, man. Come on. Be like, bro, give me some space here. Like, damn, sorry I couldn't find space as
How about
is.
you? Why are you so close to me?
What? I gotta manage this. Plus,
Is that
like I
better?
said, I'm not. Like, look, you see where I'm at right there on the camera? That's perfect.
All right, you good?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. What's going on, people? It's the Renaissance Mob late night show. It's your boy Ray.
And it's your boy Trey.
Today we got a reaction video to Donald Trump questions Kamala Harris' racial identity.
Byron Daniels is talking to George, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's an ABC reporter. And Byron Daniels, he's a congressman from Florida. But basically what this whole thing is because a few years ago when Kamala had became U.S. Senator, there was all types of news saying that she's the first Indian American senator. Some people have a problem with that. And we're gonna see what Congressman Daniels and this reporter has to say about that. So, you ready?
Let's get into it.
Let's get to it.
Let's bring in Republican Congressman and Trump ally Byron Donalds. Congressman, thank you for joining us this morning. Why is former President Trump questioning the Vice President's racial identity?
Well, first, George, in Chicago, he was responding to a question from, I believe, Rachel Scott. Like, this is really a phony controversy. I don't really care. Most people don't. But if we're going to be accurate, when Kamala Harris went into the United States Senate, it was AP that said she was the first Indian American United States Senator. It was actually played up a lot when she came into the Senate. Now she's running nationally. Obviously, the campaign has shifted. They're talking much more about her father's heritage and her black identity. It doesn't really matter. The president mentioned it. What he also talks about far more frequently is the fact that Kamala Harris is the person who created this massive inflation, which is destroying black families, white families, Hispanic families. It's her failure as border czar that has left our southern border wide open, more than 10 million illegal immigrants coming into our country, record fentanyl coming into our country, which has killed more Americans than at any other point in the history of our country with respect specifically to fentanyl.
You know, he does have a point there too, because within the last year, you did hear a lot of like fentanyl overdoses in America.
Even personally, I know a lot of people that passed away from using that shit.
Yeah, like that's nothing to play with, man.
That's crazy.
Nothing to play with.
And the fact that she and Joe Biden have unleashed one of the worst foreign policies in the history of our country that has us on the verge of World War III. That is Kamala Harris's record. President Trump talks about that frequently, but yes, he did mention it in Chicago in response to a question from Rachel Scott.
And you just repeated the slur again. If it doesn't matter, why do you all keep questioning her identity? She's always identified as a black woman. She is biracial. She has a Jamaican father and an Indian mother. She's always identified as both. Why are you questioning that?
I kind of got a problem with that.
Why you got a problem with it?
Because like I just seen like multiple videos, and like this is way before she even became vice president. Like this is videos of her like acknowledging like her being, you know, first Indian American, and then like there's this actress named Mindy Kaplan or whatever. She's Indian too, and then they was doing a show together, and then like cause you grew up as Indian, and she was like, oh yes I did. So
Before all of this, she never identified as black.
I never seen nothing like that.
And nobody never knew what her parents looked like she.
Well, her mother's straight Indian.
Right.
Her mother's straight Indian. Now, apparently her father's like Jamaican or whatever.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? Like, that is like three completely different, like, ethnicities and, you know, cultures, to be honest with you. So, yeah, that's just how I feel about that.
Well, George, first of all, this is something that's actually a conversation throughout social media right now. There were a lot of people who are trying to figure this out. But again, that's a side issue, not the main issue. The main issue.
Sir, 1 second. You just did it. You just did it again.
Of the United States.
Why do you insist on questioning her racial identity?
You want me to talk?
I want you to answer my question.
George, now that you're done yelling at me, let me answer. He talked about it on the stage yesterday in Atlanta for, 2 minutes? He spent more than 35, 40 minutes going after her record, talking about how radical of a senator that she was. She was the most liberal senator in the United States, in the United States Senate. That is a fact. He talked about the job that she did as vice president of the United States, a job, I will add, which has been a failure for the American people. I know you guys like to glom on to this that he talks about in jest or in a serious manner for about a minute or so, but what you do not cover is the litany of failures of Kamala Harris. That's what you're not covering, George.
So questioning somebody's racial identity for a couple minutes is okay?
George, I'm going to tell you.
Why does that matter?
Because that's the only thing they got to back up.
Is that all they trying to? Is ignorant.
But this shit happens. This shit happens every election year. And like, not to get too political on it, but like, it's the truth. Like, Democrats, they always use the identity politics to like get people emotional and just react off emotion instead of logic. Nobody cares if Kamala Harris was white, black, Indian, Zimbabwe, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody cares about that. I mean, come on, yo. Like, you would have to be blind and like just be an extremely emotional person to not recognize that they're using identity politics to get their vote. I mean, let's be honest.
He's not bringing up the records. He's not bringing up anything to counter anything Trump said about her records.
That's the only thing they got. And then
this is all he got, and that's like you said, just to get an emotional response.
Yeah.
So it's a very controversial, like another thing they're trying to do to make him. Put him in a bad picture, a bad light.
But hold on a second. I want to, but like, and then like I said about the emotion part. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can rewind it right here. Look how he looks right here when he does this. Look how he looks.
Sir, 1 second. You just did it. You just did it again.
Of the United States.
You just did it again. That's all they got.
Thanks.
Why do you insist on questioning her racial identity?
You want me to talk?
I want you to answer my question.
George, now that you're done yelling at me, let me answer. He talked about it on the stage yesterday in Atlanta for 2 minutes? He spent more than 35, 40 minutes going after her record, talking about how radical of a senator that she was. She was the most liberal senator in the United States, in the United States Senate. That is a fact. He talked about the job that she did as vice president of the United States, a job, I will add, which has been a failure for the American people. I know you guys like to glom on to this that he talks about in jest or in a serious manner for about a minute or so, but what you do not cover is the litany of failures of Kamala Harris. That's what you're not covering, George.
So questioning somebody's racial identity for a couple minutes is okay?
George, I'm going to tell you again, he brought it up. AP is the one that wrote the headline when she first came in to the United States Senate. Didn't talk about her being black, talked about her being the first Indian American senator. AP brought that up. I mean, George, we could have this conversation for the entire segment, but none of this matters to the American people. Yeah. What matters to the American people is, are we going to have the same policies of the Biden-Harris administration that has been destructive of the American people, or are we going to have the policies of the Trump administration, which put America first, had low inflation, prosperous Americans, no matter your race, no matter your color, no matter your creed, and a foreign policy that kept America safe? Those are the facts that truly matter, because this issue is going to come and go. The lives of the American people is what's going to remain, and that's what matters more than anything else.
If it doesn't matter, I don't understand why you keep on repeating it, why the president keeps on repeating it, why those introducing the president...
Is he not the only one repeating it here?
But here's my thing. Like, he wouldn't have to repeat himself if you didn't ask him about the question constantly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude,
you just asked him in the past 3 minutes about nothing about her racial identity. What else is he supposed to say?
All right.
Like, you guys keep asking the questions.
He keeps trying to move on and talk about the real shit, and you keep...
He said at the end of the day, that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
We care about the policies and what she will actually do for this country.
Yeah.
And she's just not... and he keeps bringing up that race shit. He just keeps bringing it up. It's pathetic, to be quite honest with you.
George, Actually,
repeating
I'm not
it.
the one who keeps repeating it. George, you're the one that's bringing it up now.
You've done it,
understand why
sir.
you
You've
bring
done it.
up.
You've done it
Because
3 times. Every single answer
George,
you gave me. Now let me finish, sir.
George,
Every single answer you gave, you repeated the slur.
You asked me, George. That's why I'm pushing back on you now. George, you asked me the question 3 times. I responded, but I'm.
And every single time you repeat the slur. That is exactly my point. You simply can't say that it's wrong.
George, so then what you're saying? So then what you and I.
He said slur, like he said like the N-word or something like that. Like what slur is he saying?
Right.
I don't understand.
Slang, like what are you talking about?
Yeah, because like when you use slur, it's like it's like a degrading term. So he didn't say nothing degrading at all.
I want to get off this topic because it's not the only thing that's going on. But George, now you're saying that AP is the one that slurred Kamala Harris because those are the facts. You can go to the internet and look at the clips, George, if you want to, or we can talk about this now. I prefer to talk about the future of our country because the American people are struggling. The American people do need serious policy decisions to be made, and they need serious leadership on the world stage. Kamala Harris has not proven that she can do that. Donald J. Trump has proven that he can do that.
AP did not say that Kamala Harris is not black. She is biracial. She is Indian. She is black. You continue to repeat the fact that you continue to repeat the slur. I don't understand why you and the president do it, but it's clear you're not going to say that it's wrong. And you've now established that for our audience. Trump also said at the convention that he would pardon January 6 rioters.
Everybody look for themselves. Let's move on.
I've already said that. Go ahead.
On the internet, everybody, let's move on. There we go.
So, go on and repeat the slurs again. Trump also said at the convention that he would pardon January 6 rioters who assaulted police officers. Do you support that?
This dude's an idiot, bro.
Actually,
I'm sorry.
what he said is
George.
Yeah, George.
George
something. His last name does start with an S. I do know that. You remember the other day when I was telling you like why young people like go to Twitter for newsworthy stuff rather than ABC? It's because of stuff like this.
Right.
Look, it would be fine if you voiced your opinion or that if a reporter voiced his opinion, that's his own opinion, right? I'm not even mad at George for saying this stuff. The thing I'm mad is that like every other news network says the same thing and says the same like they was just.
Well, I'm mad at him. I feel like he's contradicting himself. He's the one that keeps bringing up the point.
Well, he's obviously
trying to get him to
react in
admit
a
that
certain
it's
type of
wrong.
way. He's definitely trying to get him to react in a certain type of way.
Is that what we're really here for? To talk about her race and is it wrong that Donald Trump? Like, bro, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. He's making a fair point, saying, "Okay, it is what it is. Let's just move on and talk about the future of America." He's still stuck on the topic, but constantly telling him, "Oh, well, you just can't admit it's wrong," or "Oh, you can't move on." Oh, like, bro.
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of weird to me.
Are they ever gonna move on? Is this the whole video?
I don't even know. Let's see. Hopefully they move on.
Is that he was going to review every single case. He even repeated that again in Chicago at the NABJ. Listen, what we do understand is that the Department of Justice under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they did massively push up charges on people who protested at the Capitol and some who rioted at the Capitol on January 6th. So what he's talking about is doing a case-by-case review. You can lump it all together all you want, but those are the words of Donald J. Trump. I'm quite sure on the internet people can pull up that clips. They can watch it at their own leisure.
I'll read it to you right now. This was Rachel Scott's question. My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers. Would you pardon those people? Oh, absolutely, I would. That's his words.
Yes, but you did not leave in was the rest of his comments where he said, "Yeah, I would, but we want to look at everything on a case-by-case basis." That's what will happen, George.
No, that's not what he said. He said if they were innocent, I would pardon them. They've all been convicted. He said he would pardon those who assaulted police officers. Do you support that or not?
George, you just changed the soundbite. You just changed it. Now you added, if they're innocent, then I will pardon them. Let's go back to the record of January 6th. Again, not something that
I didn't change the soundbite. That's exactly what he said. They've been convicted.
George, the first thing you said was, yes, I'll pardon them. Then you expanded.
And he said that.
Say, if they are innocent, then yes, I will. That's what you said, George. Now I'm responding. Okay. So what he's saying is that, yeah, I will go and look at these cases. If they're innocent, yes, I will. Of course, if somebody was beating up a police officer at January 6th, he's not going to do that. But if you had people who were just walking through the Capitol, which did occur on January 6th, because the security protocols had changed because of that riot at the Capitol, then what he would do is not allow them to be held in jail with these massively increased charges by the current U.S. attorney in D.C. under the Biden-Harris administration. Compare that to the fact that at the rally that the riots that just occurred at Union Station when Bibi Netanyahu was speaking to Congress, you had the same U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia who decided to just let people go and not file any charges, even though they were defacing monuments at Union Square.
Very true.
So we want to be fair with the justice system. We don't want to be political with the justice system.
My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers. Would you pardon those people? Donald Trump. Oh, absolutely, I would. You wouldn't pardon those? If they were innocent, I would pardon them. That is the entire quote. They are not innocent. They are convicted. He said he would pardon them.
And George, what I'm telling you is he's going to go back and look at these cases because it is without a doubt. And look, January 6th is a very painful memory in our country, but it is without a doubt that the U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia was supercharging these people because of political viewpoints. Because
I think we could stop it right there. Just because this is going back to that old conversation about January 6th. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, people still worrying about an event that happened 3 years ago. In some ways, I understand it, but like at the same time, I don't see anybody getting charged for all the riots that went on in Minnesota, Oregon, here in Chicago. I didn't see nobody get charged over there, but y'all so worried about this shit.
All right.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it.
So now George is trying to argue that Trump will pardon people who rioted the Capitol.
Yeah, like
and
yeah,
actually did harm to the Capitol and people.
Yeah,
but he's not acknowledging the fact that he said he'll pardon the innocent people.
Yeah, who literally was just there to like voice their opinion.
He's going to look at the case by case, like, okay, what did they actually do? Really break it down, come to a conclusion, then make his decision if he's going to pardon them.
Exactly.
He's just trying to make it seem like, oh, he's just going to pardon all these criminals and let them out. Man, they really hate this man.
Bro, it's something about this guy that they just don't like. This was interesting. This was a bait interview if I've ever seen it. He literally only asked 2 questions in a matter of 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, why does he keep using that racial slur, which really he didn't even say no slur
at all. And
then about these January 6th rioters, worried about them, but not worried about the people that actually cause harm to the. Like, bro, some people, so many people don't want to invest in Chicago. Why? Because we keep robbing from our own fucking neighborhood and keep lowering our own economy. Why would anybody invest in any high theft area? That's just our opinion. Let us know what y'all think down in the comments. Very interesting times nowadays. Very interesting.
All the shit that's going on, all the policies that's been playing right now, we're talking about her race? Are we serious?
Like 2 wars going on. Inflation's done rise about like 21%, I believe. The economy's going bad. People going out of work. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. It's your boy Trey.
Your boy Ray.
And we out.
Peace.